What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex League. We got the co-host, Amanda, back on as always. Good to have you, Amanda.
Always great to be here.
And we got Pablo back on the show. Pablo, it's been a minute, but it's good to
Yeah,
have you back on, bro.
yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And your Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Who could have seen this coming, right? I mean, we thought they were going to be bottom dwellers this year, right?
No, 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 no. I said this from the jump. I said this like since the draft. Ever since Lamar signed that contract, and knowing how loaded we are going to be this year, I really thought this was going to be a year. Obviously, you think that every year, but like, I really gave us a shot this year.
Yeah, and they took care of business all season long. They won the division, home field, number one seed, and they come into the playoffs. They play the Texans and red hot C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryan's one of the best stories in all of football, and your defense holds them to just 3 points. How impressed were you with, especially the defensive side of the ball from your Ravens?
Yeah. I don't think it's talking about much. Obviously, he's in the head coaching conversations all across the league. Mike McDonald is, for me, in my opinion, he is the reason why he is. I think much will be talked about, like Coach Harbaugh and basically what is done with the offensive hires, with the like defensive hires. But I think Mike McDonald is the reason why the Ravens are so good this year. And I'm going like just to give you guys a recap. Obviously, he was at Michigan before he came to the Ravens in 2021. 2022, he joined the Ravens after that 1 year at Michigan. And for just you guys know, he is a Georgia guy. Obviously, I think he did finance in Georgia, BA in finance. Graduated I think summa cum laude. I think he is very smart. In 2018, he was the Ravens linebacker coach, and both you and I know that Roquan was a Georgia guy. He was a
Yeah,
linebacker, so Mike
yeah.
McDonald was probably scouting the linebacker class in 2018, but obviously Roquan is like, no way he could have dropped to us at like maybe 24 where we were picking that year. And knowing him and knowing the coaching staff from Georgia, I think he always knew that Roquan was a game changer. And I don't think the Ravens actually trade for Roquan Smith were it not for Mike McDonald coming to us, because Mike McDonald joined us at the beginning of 2022, and we traded for Roquan in November. So basically, I think, and also EDC was also like a linebacker in our GM was also a linebacker in college. So I think Mike McDonald basically knew that this defense would be built around Roquan Smith, and that's basically what he's done. And obviously, the leader that he is, and the game playing that basically he has set up this defense to like play. That's part of the reason why the Ravens are so successful. And regarding the
Yeah.
game, the 3 points, like that was like they shouldn't have scored those 3 points, because like 4 plays before they kicked that field goal, Kyle Hamilton had a chance to intercept a ball that was tipped by Travis Jones. So yeah, it could have been a shutout. So but we take the 3 points, we move on.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed, I mean, I know Alex is real upset about the Roquan Smith trade. I mean, he was a star in Chicago. Like Chicago
Yeah,
doesn't
he
have a
has
lot going
never
for that
healed.
that Bears team, but man, to see one of your best players leave, like that sucks. But that I mean that shows management and like the poor decisions we've seen made year after year in Chicago. But one thing I noticed last weekend, there were so many missed interceptions. I counted at least five that should have been picks and weren't. But that Ravens defense was on fire. I mean, holding CJ Stroud to 175 yards, 38 total rushing yards in that game. That's all they allowed. Like they were on fire in that game. So I'm a little concerned about this matchup. I know everyone says not to bet against Andy Reid in the postseason, but I don't know. Those Ravens are
Yeah.
too hot right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for me, like Roquan said during the Wired episode, he was telling, I think, Patrick Quinn or somebody, look at the scoreboard. They had 38 rushing yards. We had 209 rushing yards, and he
Mhm.
said something along the lines of, "You run the ball, you stop the run, you win in the playoffs." And I
Yeah.
think that's the bread and butter for this defense. And I don't think the Chiefs can run the ball. Pacheco is not 100%. He has to play, but I think he's dealing with a toe injury or something. He's their best running back. Basically, I don't think they have anyone that can run the ball like he does. And obviously, we have incredible run stoppers like on that D line, Michael Pierce, Travis Jones, those guys. Justin Madubuike is a great pass rusher, but he can also stop the run as well. Like Jadavion Clowney has come into his own self. Like Kyle Van Noy, I don't
Yeah.
see how the Chiefs can actually win this. And obviously, we haven't had an AFC Championship game in Baltimore since 1970. It's going to be a long day if we play to our standards for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But we know they'll pose problems for us in the passing game. Kelsey has 75 yards, at least 70 yards in the past two games. He has scored like two touchdowns. I think in the past two games or something in the playoffs. So it will be tough, but I like our chances.
Yeah, and the Isaiah Pacheco injury is key because I think that if you can limit him and put the pressure on Mahomes in the passing game, that's how you win this game. It sounds backwards, but you want to get Mahomes running for his life. You want to get him throwing the ball a lot and get a couple of those drops that they've been known for all season long. And Pacheco's really impressed me with his hard running. He doesn't go down on first contact. So with him being a little banged up, I think that is a big deal.
Mhm.
And you know, turnovers are going to be key, but it's going to be a great game. But yeah, we're going back to Roquan Smith. I mean, who wouldn't want Roquan Smith on your defense? Like
The
he's
Bears,
incredible,
the
and
Bears.
that's so. I know you are always getting on me saying you got to support Ryan Poles. He knows what he's doing. Who the hell trades away Roquan Smith? Like, come on now.
Ah,
So.
I mean, yeah, that's tough. I mean, I do agree though. I mean, we've seen the Chiefs have issues getting the ball out deep most of the season. I mean, there've been some huge drops by their receivers.
yeah,
Last week MVS stepped up and had a couple great plays after,
yeah,
some I mean, MVS is known for his drops. Packers, Chiefs, like that's what he's known for. So it cracks me up to see him, playing for another team and doing the same shit, but he had a great week last week for him. But I
yeah,
mean, if I think the only way it gets going is if Mahomes gets out and scrambles, because
yeah,
I mean that passing game is on and off. Like they'll
yeah,
have a couple great plays and then get completely shut down. And Baltimore has the second lowest open score to opposing receivers in the
yeah,
league this season.
yeah,
So
yeah,
their
yeah,
receivers are going to have an even harder time getting open. And
yeah,
this I mean most sacks in the league against
yeah,
Mahomes that beat up O-line. I
yeah,
mean, we know Mahomes
yeah.
can scramble, but he's gonna need to get going in order to pull off some yards there for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. The Ravens are the best defense in the first quarter. Like, that
Mhm.
was something that even the 49ers pointed out when we were going to play them on December 25th. They will literally come out and punch you in the mouth. That's basically the philosophy. They start fast and they play really, really hard. I think the scrambling, I don't think the only problem that I have with the scrambling is Alex mentioned this when he was speaking when you guys did the Chad Brown episode. The calls, the penalty calls, man, and him
Mhm.
like scrambling and like getting this like up, like that's the only fear I have with the scrambling. But 100%, I think Roquan Smith will take him out if he does try to scramble and like make those runs
Well,
through the box.
they need to be careful with that though, because the
Yeah,
officiating crew for this week is Sean Smith. So their
yeah,
regular season crew had through the third most flags in any officiating crew in the NFL,
yeah,
14.8 per game. And he has an above average number of roughness calls. So third
yeah,
most flags for roughing the passer, and overall ranked number one with 25 unnecessary roughness calls this season. So I have a feeling Patrick Mahomes is going to continue his trend of being babied. Hopefully, it's
yeah.
not a very one-sided officiating game, because nothing pisses me off more than a close game that the officials seem to have a favorite in.
And
So
And you know they want to see Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. You know they really want her at the Super Bowl. So it'll be tough, but we just have to run away with it. We need to
Yeah.
stop him and we need to score. That's
I was
it.
going to say the Ravens get up 14. Extra penalty here or there isn't going to matter too much. But yeah, I'm nervous about this officiating crew with all the media attention the Chiefs are getting and with the Taylor Swift situation. Not that that's the players' fault at all, but this officiating crew has been especially suspect this season.
I think I agree with what you're saying. Guaranteed. I can guarantee you the officiating is going to play a role in this game pro Kansas City. Like they're going to bail out Mahomes one way or another, whether it's a late hit, a roughing the passer. And how oftentimes do we see in a critical 3rd and long, they throw a ticky tack holding, defensive holding, automatic first, or a ticky tack pass interference, something to extend the Chiefs' drive. For that reason, I don't think the Ravens are going to run away with it. I think that it's going to be a close, hard-fought game, and I think the officiating is going to help keep it that way because the NFL wants it to be a close game for ratings and all that, and for drama. But in Baltimore, the first time the Chiefs have had to go on the road, and this defense isn't the Buffalo Bills defense. This is a next level defense, and you know, as long as my one concern is this, and Pablo, tell me what you think, is the Ravens' slow start offensively in the divisional round, and being tied 10-10 at halftime, and requiring that Lamar, cuss word, fired up halftime speech. Is that going to be needed again? Hopefully, it's not needed, and they come out ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to kind of like not be all the way fired up against the Texans. There's no excuse not to come out ready to go against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think this has been the story for us offensively all season. This is why, like, I didn't think Lamar Jackson would win MVP this year. Like, it's a surprise that basically he turned it up like since the middle of November and like just like separated himself from everyone else in terms of like MVP talk. We have always started slow offensively this year. Like, like defense has literally kept us in games. That's why like we start really well on defense, and offense usually like it takes a while, and then like in the second half we come on. I think the only game that we actually started really well was the Lions game, where like we had like 4 touchdowns in the first half. Like our first 4 drives all ended in touchdowns. It was nuts. Like I remember coming into the game like at the start of the second quarter, and I was like, what the heck is going on? um I think obviously the Texans, we had like 3 weeks or like 2 weeks to like look. Obviously, Habo said immediately after the Texans won in the wildcard game, we started studying them. Like we had 8 days to study them. The Chiefs, maybe we had like 5 days to study them. So it's going to be different. But I expect them to at least turn it up. We can't rely on like making any sort of like second quarter like rejuvenation against Patrick Mahomes. That will mean that we're probably down. So we need to start really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Amanda, I love the storylines coming into this and the mentality from Lamar. He's embracing this matchup. Post game after beating the Texans, he had that Mamba mentality. He said, "Job's not finished." And then going into this matchup against Mahomes, he's calling it like a heavyweight fight,
Mm-hmm.
like embracing it. I love that, and I hope that we see the best performance from Lamar this season in a big game, and it's a great opportunity for him to get to a Super Bowl. Mahomes, this is their 6th straight year in the conference championship. This is old news for Kansas City. For Baltimore, this is their time to take it now, and it's a great opportunity. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we saw the Chiefs barely pull off a win last week against the Bills, who are super banged up. I mean, Mahomes had a great game, but that defense is a hospital ward at this point. I mean, he was
Yeah.
17 for 23 in passing, 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had a great game, 75 yards receiving on top of those 2 touchdowns. But I mean, they barely won that game. It took luck, some really bad Josh Allen plays. I mean, they just, yeah, they won. Yeah, they're here, but this is not the same Chiefs game like that we're used to seeing them play. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, but on top of that, you look back at their history, like this is their first postseason matchup between Mahomes and Jackson. But in the regular season, Mahomes is 3-1 against Jackson. So Jackson has had this guy circled on his calendar whenever they were to meet up for a hot second. Like he's been ready mentally for this one. I mean, it's the most wins of any starting quarterback against Lamar Jackson. So the last time they matched up in 2021, Lamar and them they beat the Chiefs. He rushed for 107 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. That one where he flipped into the end zone. So he loves this matchup. He is ready. Like he's done this before. So
Yeah.
I think he's ready to continue his redemption arc against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And I mean, playing against the Chiefs team this year is different than it's been for the past 4 or 5 years. They're not quite as elite as they used to be.
And
Yeah,
Pablo,
100%. And
how big of a boost is it? We got to talk about Mark Andrews coming
Mhm.
back for this game. I mean, Isaiah Likely stepped up, filled in nicely, had that big touchdown catch. But Mark Andrews being back, even if he isn't 100%, he's that safety blanket for Lamar. So on a critical third down, having Mark Andrews out there is huge for this game.
I think he's 100%. I think
Yeah,
because he had full practices the entire week last week. Like
yeah,
he just chose to sit because he thought like he didn't want to rush anything. I think the thing is he wasn't mentally prepared to like play the Texans game. That's why he sat. But I think
yeah.
he's 100%. Obviously, full practice last week, full practices this week. Um, it's going to be like you have to decide who's going to kill you because like we also have Dalvin Cook in the backfield. That's somebody that I really really wanted after Keaton Mitchell went down, and it's crazy that he's with us now. We have like Gus Edwards in the backfield, like Justice Hill. Those guys can catch the ball. Those guys can run it, and you have to decide. Perhaps it's a Flowers game. Perhaps it's an OBJ game. Perhaps it's an Isaiah Likely game. Rashad Bateman can also like make crucial passes on like second down. If we're passing it there, so like it's great for us now. And Amanda spoke about like the Chiefs in the past. Like if you watched the Ravens Chiefs games in the past, we like Tyreek Hill usually torched us like that. Like
Mhm.
he was a huge reason why the Chiefs beat us in most of those games. That game in 2021, we weren't supposed to win that game. Like
No.
something just happened. Like I'm not entirely sure what happened, but we were not supposed to beat Mahomes in that game where Jackson flipped into the end zone. I think the difference is our defense. Like in 2021, 2019, 2021, we were playing a lot of man defense, and that was Wink Martindale's like. It was his go-to, like, and you can't play man defense against Eric Hill. He'll just like that's a matchup nightmare, and
Yeah.
obviously Travis Kelsey as well. So I think we are much better suited to play against this Chiefs offense now, especially considering that they're weak at receiver because Hill is not at the organization anymore. And the fact that our offense is way better than it was when we played those guys in 2019, 2020, and 2021. So I'm really optimistic about this. Like this is literally set up for us to like go to the Super Bowl because like if we want to win it, we need to get past the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's yeah, six AFC championship games in 6 AFC championship games in 6 seasons. That's crazy. So you have to beat those guys to get there. So we have to.
And they've also shown that they're beatable. They've lost. You know, they lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They lost to Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game. Mahomes and the Chiefs were beatable back then, and they're even more beatable now. And with it being in Baltimore, all signs point to the Ravens. This is their opportunity. This is their chance. Don't fuck it up. Go take care of business. Get this dub and get in the Super Bowl, right, Amanda?
Well, I mean, I absolutely agree with you here. I'm pulling for them. Something I had to look up because I've noticed, and you talked about this on our last episode with Chad Brown, that Lamar has gotten so much more patient and polished in his quarterback position. So
Yeah.
at the beginning of his career, my man would run every
Mhm.
play. Like if it was, 1.2 seconds and he didn't see an open receiver, he would run. He is patient, he trusts his O-line. So he's choosing runs that are going to be, more than a yard or two and then a slide. Like so when he is open to scramble, he's getting 8, 9, 10 yards. The Chiefs defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, he's been there since 2019. During that time that he has taken over, no team has allowed more rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks in the regular
Well,
season than the Chiefs. Like over that span. So I mean, looking at that and knowing how patient Lamar is and how he's choosing his runs and finding openings, I can see Lamar getting a couple in this game.
Yeah,
yeah, and
100%. And
you talk about how many mess ups the Bills had to have to lose
Oh
that
yeah.
game. Like, the missed field goal, the fake punt from your own 30,
Like
like so
the
many.
Bills lost that game more than the Chiefs won it.
Yeah,
Like if they had played almost any other team, I feel like the Chiefs would have lost. Like
yeah.
they could have played the Packers in that game and gotten their butts kicked again. Like, I mean, it's yeah, I I understand that the Chiefs have talent and we trust Andy Reid generally, but this team just there are so many questions. And giving up Tyreek Hill and their defensive issues, I don't trust them.
Yeah, and we
yeah,
know Baltimore is going to be lit, right? That home field is going to be crazy. It's not like they get there that often. Their fans are going to be fired up.
yeah, 100%.
So that's
I
going to be
think
interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Let me just say this. Mahomes said the loudest places he's played at, he said Seattle and Baltimore. So we know our like M&T Bank Stadium is built to like retain the noise in. So and it's like 80,000 people. It's cold. So it's going to be a beautiful game overall. I really hope like we actually get business done. We stand on it because
Yeah.
this is like an opportunity, and like Michael Pierce, who is like the scene is set up for the Ravens here, because like every single player who's on this team basically has, like, look at Jadavian Clowney, look at like Michael Pierce, Brent Urban, those guys on defense, Roquan Smith. They've been good to okay players like most of their entire careers. They've never had such a great season, and they've never won a Super Bowl. This is like they look at, like Michael Pierce said, if they don't win it this year, it will be a missed opportunity, because like people are speaking of like a window. He said like they're not looking at this like the window is wide open, like they have 3 4 5 years to do it. They're looking at this like this is our year. If we don't do it, this is a missed opportunity, so we have to. Steve Spagnuolo was with the Ravens 2016 2018. He was with the Ravens for a while, so we know him. We know like the system that he likes to run. And Harbaugh said that he has stolen a few plays from us, from what he's seen on tape. So we should be 100% prepared for him on offense. And Lamar was also asked about this. He was asked what's the difference between before the Texans game. He was asked like what is your opinion going to the playoffs this year, and in what's the difference between 2023 and 2019. And he said the difference is that he's different. So that's just the mentality that he has, and I think he's ready to lead us. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so let's make our predictions for this game. Score and who wins. What do you think, Pablo?
Yeah, I'm going like 100%. Every single time Jackson is on the field, we score at least 28 points. Like that's
Mhm.
an average. Like offensively, when he's not playing, it's like 17 or something. It's so bad when he doesn't play.
Snoop
Um,
Huntley.
yeah, Snoop. Yeah, Snoop is not it. That's why we brought in Malik Cunningham. He's going to be QB2 next year. I think I'll go 31-23. Ravens. Because it's so difficult to put up more than 20 points against our defense, and I think the Chiefs will just like get slightly more than 20.
Yeah. What do you think, Amanda?
Uh 35-17.
Oh, you got a bit.
I'm picking the Ravens by a bit here. I mean, the Chiefs just allowed 182 yards to Buffalo. Like Buffalo is not known for having a good rush. I mean,
Yeah.
Lamar and the Ravens are going to have 250, 300 rushing yards. Like if they play the same way, like there's no way. I mean, and you know, it took playing against a beat up Buffalo defense for Mahomes and Travis Kelce to have, their 16th postseason touchdown, the most playoff scores by any quarterback receiver do it. Like, I mean, that's cute. That was a crappy defense they played and they barely won. I don't see this going well for the Chiefs.
I mean, you can't bring up the refs and then pick a blowout. So I'm going Ravens 30, Chiefs 24. I'm telling you, the Ravens are going to outplay the Chiefs in probably all three phases, but the refs are going to keep Kansas City in this game.
Hey, the
So I
refs were
think,
trying to keep the Lions in the Packers game, and the Packers still
yeah,
almost won that one by 20.
and we know it. We've seen it before. Big game Mahomes, big game Chiefs. The refs are wearing Kansas City jerseys. So, you remember that roughing the passer Mahomes got in the Dolphins game where he got
Yeah, but
shoved?
but Tua wasn't up for MVP, so maybe they'll have a little bit of money on Lamar. You know, you don't want to knock the NFL
Yeah.
MVP out in the conference championship.
Yeah, and the Ravens might get a couple calls here or there, so that's why I think Ravens by 6, one score game, but we all agree Ravens, and this is their year, man. All I'm saying is Ravens deliver this for me. I don't want to see any more Taylor Swift. I don't want to see any more Patrick Mahomes or Mr. Pfizer, Travis Kelce. Knock the Chiefs out and give us what we all want: the Lamar Jackson, Roquan Smith, and the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that Mr. Pfizer comment is hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out Aaron Rodgers for some of the
Aaron Rodgers,
best
yeah.
bench commentary we've gotten in years. So speaking of commentary, as we, transition to this 49ers Lions matchup, let's talk a little bit about the drama between the players on these teams. So back in October, CJ Gardner-Johnson goes on Instagram Live and he says that Deebo Samuel is a glorified running back. He can't run routes. So, Deebo claps back and he says, "It sounds like he's mad. I got a little bag and a lot of money and nobody knows who he is." So
Yeah.
they were asked about this week coming into this. CJ didn't have a comment on it. And Deebo said, "I pay that no mind. He just got to come in and strap it up." So I am stoked to see these two in this game, and just I want to see him get a little handsy. I want to see it get chippy. I want I want some of that fire to come on the field between the two of them.
You want that? Like, I understand why Dan Campbell signed CJ Gardner Johnson. He's a great player. You want that talk, that, junkyard dog. You want that intensity that he comes with it. But in a big game like this, Deebo Samuel and the 49ers, this is gonna backfire. And I've picked against the Lions every game this year. And it got me in a hole against Amanda. I was wrong in the two playoff games coming in here. But the Bucks game matched up very well for the Lions. It really did. And they took advantage of that and they got the win, and good job there. This is a bad matchup for Detroit. Straight up. The Niners and the Ravens are the two most talented teams in the league. And I can't pick the Lions here. I mean, I can't pick them at all ever, but I can't pick them here in San Francisco. Come on now.
I'm just curious. You're physically unable to pick the Lions to win in a game. Like what happens if you pick them? Like, do you start choking? Is it a cough? Like, do you faint?
Yeah,
I'm just really curious
yeah,
what would
he
happen if
gets
you
the
were to
hive.
pick them.
He gets the
Well,
hives.
Instant heart attack. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so
it's
curious.
multiple. It's Jared Goff. I don't trust Jared Goff. He's done a great job. This is what I'll say about Jared Goff.
Wait,
Two
wait,
playoff games.
He got
Alex.
the Rams to the Super Bowl, Alex.
That
Well,
was that was Sean McVay. What did he do in the Super Bowl? What, put up 3 points?
He
so
got them
Alex has
there.
said probably 20 times this year, Goff is ass. Just those three words.
Wow.
That is his
Wow.
motto for Goff.
Wow.
Well,
So if
and
Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, I'm just gonna say this now. If Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl next season for 3 weeks on the podcast, and I get to pick which 3 weeks, you have to wear a shirt or a hat that says Goff is ass. I'm just saying, if the
Hey,
Lions win, that you have to wear it on the podcast on video.
all right, and if an equally likely scenario and Rex Grossman wins the Super Bowl, you have to wear a Grossman shirt on the podcast. So Jared Goff isn't doing it. And
I would absolutely wear a sexy Rexy shirt though. I love Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman he and Jay Cutler like throwing to Green Bay more than their own receivers. I love them.
Well, Pablo, tell me what you think of this. Goff, you agree with me, right? Goff, when he protects the football, no turnovers, he can be very serviceable, and he's been pretty accurate this year. Honestly, he's outplayed my expectations by far. And in the two playoff games with no turnovers, that's been key to get them this far. Do I trust him to have no turnovers in San Francisco against Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner and these guys? No, I don't. What are your thoughts on this, Pablo? Do you trust Goff and that Lions offense against San Francisco's defense?
Yeah, I took Goff. Let me process this before I say it. I'll take Goff over Purdy in this game. Just based off of experience alone, because like you need experience in the playoffs. In terms of like ceiling, Purdy has the higher ceiling, but in terms of
Mhm.
just like for this game, like who the QB
Experience.
I'd really want Goff in this. I think he probably has had the best season of his career, and I know in like that season 2018 where they go to the Super Bowl, that was probably one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a Rams QB.
Mhm.
But I think do the Niners actually have ball hawks? Greenlaw did not have an interception before last week. I know he had two interceptions, but he did not have an interception all season. So do they have ball hawks? I'm not really sure. Like the linebackers are like they're for me. They are overrated. I like Fred Warner, but he is incredibly overrated. I think people are just going off of the household name. He is Fred Warner. He has been
Mhm.
playing really, really well for a couple of years, but I think he's incredibly overrated. I think there are better linebackers than him in the league. Defensively, I think the D line for the Niners is probably the thing that actually keeps them in games. Their secondary is okay. Their linebackers are okay. Um, I I'm not saying anything for the 49ers here defensively, but I think they will win. But I'm not scared of them defensively.
Ooh, come that linebacker core. All right, I love the Ravens linebacker core more than any. That
Mhm.
Niners linebacker core is on the same level, if not,
Nah, nah.
it's right
I
there.
can't.
And I'm
I
a
I
Roquan
can't
Smith
take that.
guy.
Like,
Fred
nah.
Warner can make every play,
I,
and
Let me say
Greenlaw
this. Let me say
is a
this. Let me say
beast.
this. I would literally take the Colts linebackers over the Niners linebackers. Like
No,
EJ Speed, literally. Like like go back and watch our game where we played the Niners. Like we did not do literally any, like our passing game wasn't the best. I know we like Lamar had two passing touchdowns, but like we didn't pass so much. But we ran the ball like no one's business, and they couldn't tackle us. And I think Fred Warner is the guy that's looked up to. He is one of the highest paid linebackers in the game, but I don't think his game is as great as people say it is. I don't think he's even in the conversation for top two linebackers in the league. Um, that's just my opinion, though.
I mean, Fred
uh,
Warren's ranked number one on a lot of different places.
Yeah,
But
Fred.
as
he's
far
something.
as as far as cores, like the group of linebackers, I think he is the standout on that team, and the other ones are, ranked 15, 16. I think the Ravens have the better linebackers, which I'm intrigued to see the matchup if those two teams. I mean, Alex and I, we don't agree on a lot in the regular season, but it was like what, week 6? We both picked the Niners and the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. And
Yeah,
I
Mhm.
our pick is still going strong there. We disagreed a ton during the regular season, so I was shocked we had the same two teams. And this was before like Lamar was the front runner for MVP, because that didn't really start happening until week 11, 12, when he
Yeah,
started kind of
yeah,
making a case for himself.
yeah.
And then Tyreek's injury really helped him out too. But I mean, you guys can talk linebackers all you want in a minute. Something I'm intrigued about in this matchup, and I have loved the Lions rookies all season. I
Yeah,
love their draft. I
yeah,
was stoked on their draft from day one, but the 49ers run defense, 25th in rushing yards allowed and
yeah,
28th in
yeah.
yards per carry allowed
Yeah,
since
who's to blame
2015.
for that? That's the linebacker's problem. 100%, because as a linebacker you need to run, you need to know the run is coming, you need to
Mhm.
let your fellow players know the run is coming. Like I just don't think like the Lions, the 49ers can play up to Jameer Gibbs,
Mhm.
Montgomery, like uh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that matchup, and I'm excited to see that. I think the San Francisco pass defense is gonna kind of shut down those receivers, but that 1-2 punch of those Detroit running backs, I think is gonna be really interesting to see. I mean, over the past 5 weeks, they've been 25th and 28th. Like, how are you gonna fall off in week 15 and drop to the bottom third of the league, bottom quarter of the league when it's coming down to the line? That's when you need to be heating up and improving your stats. Like, look at Green Bay before week 15. They were ranked 20th and below in everything. Since week 15, I mean, best quarterback in the league. Like, that's not the time to start falling off. So I'm concerned about that 49ers run defense.
I'll say this, and I don't think I think the 49ers, I think they get out to an early lead, and I think that it negates a lot of the Lions' run game. I think that a lot of pressure is going to be on Jared Goff to get the ball to Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, uh, Josh Reynolds down the field, right? And they're great in coverage. Like there might be a weakness there in the running game, but they're great in coverage. Fred Warner on Laporta, Greenlaw with the 2 picks last week, the game clinching pick. And a lot of people hate on Dre Greenlaw and say he's overrated and say he's a head case that gets personal foul penalties. He seems to step up in all the big games. You know, I've seen a lot of the hate on Greenlaw on Twitter, and when he got that game-winning pick, I was like, shut up, haters. Like, and Fred Warner I'm the biggest Roquan Smith fan out there. I want to abandon my Bears over getting rid of Roquan Smith. The Ravens are my AFC team because of Roquan Smith. I think Fred Warner and Roquan are right there, 1A, 1B, in my opinion, in the entire league. We'll see. Hopefully, we get this matchup in the Super Bowl because that'd be a lot of fun and a lot of comparisons and two equally extremely talented teams. But I just think that the Niners defense is going to be the difference. And then the Lions defense outside of Aiden Hutchinson, where's the pass rush coming from outside of Aiden?
Just him.
And,
But
and if you block him, look, if you're Tampa Bay and you leave him unblocked, you're asking for trouble. If you block him,
yeah. I mean, but let's give him a quick shout out. I mean, he has improved so much this postseason. I mean, he has doubled his pass rush win rate from the regular season to the postseason. 29%. That's fucking amazing. Like, he's got 8 sacks over his past 4 games. He has been killing it. So I mean, if Hutchinson gets loose and he gets a strip sack, I could see Detroit's defense kind of helping out here, but I'm assuming the 49ers are going to have him locked down.
Yeah, for me,
Or at least
that's
to.
yeah, for me that's the reason. Like I don't agree, Alex. I think the Niners offense will be the reason why the Niners win this game. I don't think the defense will be, because that Lions defense doesn't really have a lot of dogs in it. I know CJ Gardner Johnson likes to talk, but he almost never backs it up. So except last year he had a great season with the Eagles, but like it's not the guy to back it up. I think the Lions defense is not like built to actually like withstand what the Niners have on offense. We basically rent them out of M&T Bank Stadium when you play them in the regular season, and our offense is like up and down. Like I know it has come into its own, but like it's up and down. It was up and down then. I think defense, like if the Niners actually force the Lions to become one dimensional on offense, and they force like Jared Goff to be like this like multiple like 30 time passing quarterback, or like passing the ball like 40 times, I think it'll be way easy for the Niners. But if like Goff like passes it like 25 times, to like attempts to pass it 25 times, and they just like run the heck out of Jameer Gibbs, and if Gibbs has something like 120 yards, 100% they lose it, because that Niners defense, people like to speak about it. Like I'm not impressed by it. I think the linebacker position, like look, if you look at Roquan Smith, he doesn't have a lot of stats this year. Like in terms of tackling, I know he has his tackle number is always really really high, but it's gone off a bit, because usually he always leads the league in tackles. He has like 1.5 sacks for the year. He has not had an impressive year stat wise, but the year that he's had is incredible in terms of like just like performance and like making everyone better. Fred Warner might have all the stats, but he is really really overrated. I'm just telling you guys.
No, I agree. It's funny as hell because Bears fans will get on Twitter and post like, "Where's Roquan's stats? He's not any good. Jack
Yeah,
Sanborn's better. Tremaine Edmonds is better. We won the deal. You guys are effing
yeah, yeah,
idiots." To watch some football, watch Roquan Smith in that Ravens defense. It's obvious to anyone with eyeballs how impactful Roquan Smith is, and you hear it from his teammates how big of a locker room leader, how impactful he is. But going back to this game, to me, the one thing I disagree with you on this aspect, Pablo, is that the Lions. Let's say they do establish the run. Let's say they put up 31 points. I still got the Niners putting up 38.
yeah,
If it turns into a shootout, I still got the Niners.
yeah,
And
yeah,
where's your confidence in? I know you said you would trust Jared Goff for this game. The only concern is Brock Purdy with the turnovers
Mhm.
because
yeah,
that's how the game got away from him against your Ravens. Is he was like 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions.
yeah,
What are you doing? And if the turnovers are going to be key, whether it's Purdy or Goff, is there any concern? Amanda Purdy could have thrown a pick six
Mhm.
against your Packers.
I mean, the Packers shouldn't have been in that game for so long. Like, we saw his nerves. We saw
Mm-hmm.
what Purdy looks like when he's under pressure. Last week he did better against the Packers, but I mean, that was the 7th seed, and they won with a little bit of help from some really crappy calls and some really stupid plays and a missed field goal. Like, they won by 3 points and we had a missed field goal in the fourth quarter. Like, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't win that like as much
No,
as
it
they
was
should
way
have.
too
Like,
close.
they pulled
Yeah.
off the win. They're in this game, but like, Green Bay was in it for 59 minutes and 30 seconds as the 7th seed. And
Yep.
their rookie kicker screwed the pooch on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we've seen some weaknesses from the 49ers. Granted, Green Bay had their best game of the season in that matchup. But still, like, there are some weaknesses that were shown last week. And I mean, the Lions may be able to exploit them, but again, Green Bay beat Detroit as well. So I mean, I don't know how this is going to go. Something that's interesting in this, you guys were talking about tackles and, Fred Warner's numbers. So the 49ers are the toughest team to tackle in the NFL. They lead the league in yards after contact. However, on the defensive side, Detroit leads the league in allowing the fewest yards after contact. So it's very rare to see a one-to-one matchup in this NFC Championship matchup, because usually it's like one offense is better, one defense is fifth, but then the offense is like right behind the other one. But like this is a one-to-one like offense and defensive matchup, which I love. I love to see the best of both coming at each other and just to see who kind of wins that one.
yeah.
And
That's
But
Debo playing in this game is massive. No
it's huge.
Debo, this game gets a lot closer. Debo playing really opens up that Niner offense. You
Well,
agree, Pablo?
that's how the Packers stayed in it. It's because Debo
Exactly.
yeah.
was out for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's yeah, basically tackling and basically not allowing yards after the catch. It's the Lions' bread and butter. Like they live by it, they die by it. I think I think like obviously if it gets into a shootout, like the Lions defense cannot like um run toe to toe with what the Niners have on offense. For me, just like looking at it, I think players like, because for me I think Kittle is the leader on offense. I don't think there's a bigger leader on offense. I think he and Trent Williams have been playing for that Niners offense for the longest
Yeah.
time. Like we all remember like him losing that Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes, and he swore that he'd get back there again. For me, just like as a Ravens fan, I'm really really scared of playing them again. Because I saw that press conference after we won that game, and Kittle said like they didn't get to their playbook because like our defense basically like took like everything away that they planned to do. But so they didn't execute their plan, and their plan is basically just like in their back pocket. um just looking at this team, I think the Niners basically will put up like you said, Alex, like 38, 35 points. I think the Lions won't, and that will be the difference because um the Lions defense is not. I just don't see how they can do this. I don't see how they can do this, especially without a pass. Like you can double team Aiden Hutchinson, and that will take him out of the game every single snap. So and also if Kittle is probably the best blocking tight end in the league. So if you put him
Yeah.
on Aiden Hutchinson, I'm 100% sure you can
Yeah.
limit him. So yeah.
McCaffrey gets loose a couple times, that game could get over quick, in my opinion. So let's
100%.
do let's get to our picks for this one. Um, Pablo, you made it. You got the Niners putting up some points here. How do you see the score going?
Yeah, 100%. I think the Niners will win this one like 36-24. I think it will be by at least two scores. The Lions have had a great season. They probably had a season that not even like a single person on their fan base could have imagined they would have such a great season. I think this is the end of the road for them. I think Santa Clara is just like it's different to go in there, and it's difficult to go in there and win. And most teams don't beat the Niners. I think this is it's going 36-24 San
Yeah.
Francisco.
What do you think, Amanda?
I'm tempted just to pick the Lions because it's been serving me well all season. I mean,
Do it. I need to gain another game on you. Come on. You're
you've got
only
a one game lead in the
one
postseason. He
game
lost by
losing.
11. He lost by 11 in the regular season. And
We're
I
not
tried to
calling
talk
points.
him.
It's wins and losses. That's all that matters
I
here.
know, but I tried to talk him, but we're going to agree down the line. Like these are the two teams we picked. So you already won the postseason. Because I mean, you're going to take the 49ers today and the 49ers again next week against the Ravens? Like I already know who you're picking for the rest of the season. Like,
We'll see. Maybe I'll switch it up come Super Bowl. Just
no, you're full of shit. Obviously taking the 49ers here. Like we saw some weaknesses last week. We know Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. I'm assuming he's going to correct the issues they had against Green Bay. I know the Lions have had an amazing season. I mean, it's their first postseason win since 1991. Like, they are the best story left in the NFL at this point. And I would love for the Lions to win. Do I think they can? Maybe with a little bit of magic. But I don't like to pick with my emotions. I did that last week with Green Bay, and man, I was fucking close. But I'm gonna pick the Niners here. I think it'll be a closer game than the other one. I think it's probably gonna be 32-28. But we've talked in the season with different guests that we've had about teams built in the trenches, and both of these teams are very physical. They were built the same way, multiple skills players on both teams. And neither one of these quarterbacks are MVP outbreak quarterbacks. Like I don't think either of these quarterbacks are stars, but they operate well in the scheme that is set up and is built around them with great coaches. So I think this is going to be a great matchup. I'm excited to see the Dan Campbell fire and the savviness of Kyle Shanahan in this one. I think it's going to come down a lot to the things they've learned over the season, and fixing some of those dumb turnover on downs for the Lions and some of the turnovers in general for both teams. But I do think the Niners will pull this one off, and I think it should be a great game.
Yeah, I think it could be a good game. I really do. When the Lions beat the Bucks, I immediately went on Facebook and Twitter and said Niners by 20, Niners by 20 plus, and I got a lot of Lions fans upset at me. And I was like, well, I'm upset right now because I picked the Bucks. So we'll see if I change my mind on that. I'm gonna say 34-20 49ers. And it could get out of hand with this scenario. If we get into the fourth quarter or second half and the Niners are up 2 scores or so, Dan Campbell, he's going to do some trickery. He's going to go for it on fourth down. It's going to be a punt, and he's going to go for it on 4th and 10 with a fake punt, like the Bills did, not get it. Niners punch it in. It could be 41-20 by the time we get done, but I'm not going to be a dick and pick them to lose by 20 plus. So I'm going to go 34-20 49ers here. And as great of a season as Jared Goff has had, I'll admit that. The no turnovers so far in the postseason has got them this far. I trust Brock Purdy here more than Jared Goff. Jared Goff, his ass is going to show up in the conference championship game. So we agree. Niners, Ravens, Super Bowl. I hope we get it because that could be a lot of fun.
Also, that means we've been right for what? How many weeks
A
ago was
long,
that?
long
Like,
time.
I
Yeah.
will be impressed with us if we both nailed that one. And it was funny too because we didn't discuss who we were picking for the Super Bowl before that
Mhm.
conversation. We both just had it in our notes and blurted it out, and I was shocked because we rarely agree. But
Well, we know football, so that's
yeah.
what it boils down to.
I mean, this matchup, I mean, the 49ers have dominated the series against Detroit. They've won 11 out of the last 12. San
Yeah.
Francisco's won 10 straight games at home against Detroit. I mean, Detroit, if they pull this one off, I will stand corrected and I will definitely be rooting for them in the Super Bowl. And I'm tempted to root for them here just because you've talked so much shit, and I might actually be rooting for them. Detroit has served me well this season. Detroit and I have been on the same wavelength, so do I think they can win? No. Am I still going to be rooting for them? Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be a crazy story. I'm a Cubs fan and
Such a
witnessed
good
it in
story.
2016. Yeah, but Niners are so good. What do you think, Pablo?
yeah. Just think about it this way. Like no one thought Detroit would beat the Chiefs in Week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they went into
Imagine
Arrowhead and pulled off the win. So you never
if they
know.
get there. Imagine the rematch, Lions Chiefs or Lions Ravens. There's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
crazy storylines there either way.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
the Chiefs have gotten a lot better since that game, though.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think they would get blown out either way. So, and
Yeah.
they might get blown out on Sunday. So we'll see.
I'm just annoyed
yeah,
it's not Packers Lions. Oh, that would have been such a good conference championship. The
yeah,
Midwest would be ablaze.
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Like I think my advice to the Lions, please establish the run. Like, please
yeah,
establish the run.
Mhm.
Like, Penny
yeah.
Sewell is such a great right tackle. Like, that
Mhm.
offensive line is so good. Like, just like um RPOs, try to run it on like second and something or first and something. Just try, please establish the run.
Oh my God. My
And
favorite thing I've seen this video, it's gone around. It's Dan Campbell with a wheelbarrow holding his man parts. It was that game where they went for two, three times in a row. But I mean, how many conversations have you seen on Twitter and social media this year about no one's got bigger balls than Dan Campbell? Like, I want to see him do some ballsy shit and it to pay off in this game because I feel like he should have perfected his just going balls out and succeeding at this point. Like we're in the postseason. Like it better be working at this point, Dan, because I want to see some trick plays pay off here. I want a good game.
I want to see
Yeah,
it just so I can tweet about it and laugh about the idiocy of the decision. So, you know how I
yeah.
love it. Dan and Staley, yes.
I would love to see that Deca play again.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, that Taylor Deca play. I would love to see that again.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to
Yeah,
make sure you get the right guy to eligible.
yeah. You need to do this, and you need to actually say the word. So
Yeah.
they've learned. They've learned. They
Oh, the
know.
Lions screwed us. No, you guys were trying to pull something on the
Nah,
Cowboys.
nah.
Or the
Well,
refs screwed us, I mean.
and it's funny too
Brother, let's.
because when you're trying to do a trick play, like you want to, they're trying to keep who the eligible receiver is a
Yeah,
secret. Like they were trying to fool people. They fooled the refs. Like
Yeah, they,
you
yeah,
they kept it a
you don't want it
secret
to be
from the
that
refs.
good.
Yeah.
Like my favorite plays are the ones where someone is talking shit to the defense. They're like, "Hey, I'm going to score a touchdown now," and the defense is like, "Yeah, whatever," and then they do. Like you were
Yeah.
yeah,
warned, and they still did it.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I want to see. Not like some tricky backhanded
Shoot 'em
stuff that
straight
they
up.
fucking. Yeah,
Yeah. Out scheme them. No need to trick them. Out scheme them.
exactly.
So, all right. Well, great episode. Great to have you back on, Pablo. And we should get you back on for a Super Bowl preview, especially if your Ravens are in that. So,
yeah. If the Ravens are not on there, please don't bring me back.
No, no.
That would.
See, they gotta go because we need you and Kadri back on too. Because I
yeah.
missed yesterday's episode with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
Got the
got
yeah.
to
kids.
If Kadri is actually here, please bring me on. I'd love to meet a Ravens legend.
Am I gonna
Yeah.
get the
But
boot? Am I gonna get the boot for Pablo because it's a personal connection?
No, we'll do four of us if we have to. I
Or is it
mean,
a
if
little
we're
crowded?
celebrating the Super Bowl, yeah.
You're gonna have to like
yeah,
take turns muting us. Give us all turns. Like
yeah,
someone's
yeah,
gonna have to
yeah,
like mediate.
yeah. We're probably going to talk about that 2000 Ravens Super Bowl
Mhm.
winning team a lot. So yeah,
Yeah, and then I can rub it in Bears fans' face, like, "Hey, look, Roquan's a champion. We're still
Mhm.
rebuilding."
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks guys. Great content as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week, guys.
Wait,
And peace.
everybody, put your Super Bowl picks. Put your scores
In the
for this
comments.
weekend. We want to see some stuff in the comments. We want some interaction. We'd love to see who you guys having win this week. Do you think Alex is insane? Do you think the Lions are going to pull off a huge upset here? Give us some feedback on this episode.
Josh Gonzalez said if the Lions win the Super Bowl, he's no longer going to be a Packers fan. He's going to be a Lions fan. That's what he said. So
Whenever Alex says anything about Josh on air, it's absolute horseshit. So ignore Alex. He's wrong as usual.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.